Hey guys, it's Steve from Featherlight Studio, and today we're checking out the brand new GVM SD300D. Now there's a couple different variations of this light out and different wattages, but this guy specifically has been getting a bunch of buzz lately because it's an affordable, high-power key and accessory LED that's bi-color. So it's got some pretty impressive specs. Let's dive in and find out if it lives up to the hype. So let's do a quick unboxing and find out what we have in here. And this appears to be in its own case. GVM is always really great about this kind of stuff. We had some products of theirs in the past, and all the packaging has really been well thought out. GVM sent us this unit for review, and as always, our reviews are completely unsponsored and independent. They have no bearing on the results whatsoever. So the zippered enclosure here is pretty stout. Nice surprise here. All right, so we've got some documentation for the light itself and some packaging material. This appears to be the reflector and the diffuser. And let's see what this... all right, so it's a standard Bowens mount reflector. This is pretty nice. It's pretty well machined as well. So it's got a little bit of heft to it, which is nice. It's always nice to see well-made accessories, so you're not going to break them or bend them easily. The bag is compartmentalized by heavy-duty dividers, which does a great job in protecting the components. And then we got the DC power connector itself. It has its own proprietary cable that's pretty stout here on the end, as you can see. And in addition, they've included this DC power connector bracket. The included bracket ended up being more than just a nice addition. It ended up saving our butt quite a few different times once we started using the light on a regular basis. And then we got the light itself. So at first glance, this appears to be a pretty well-made unit. The mounting system for the SD300D is incredibly durable. It's all metal, and the yoke system terminates to a standard light mount on the bottom of it, with a really sturdy heavy-duty twist knob. And the two top twist knobs are actually Rosetta style, which means they have teeth on both sides of the joint, so the light can actually ratchet up or down into different positions. When you found the position that works best for you, you simply tighten the teeth into each other, and this makes for an incredibly stable and durable position. The light is a combination of different materials depending on where they are on the lamp. The sides of the lamp are heavy-duty plastic, and it's got a knurled finish to help with the grip, and the front of the Bowens mount is cast aluminum. The rear handle is plastic, but the top of the vent itself, the cover of it, the grill, and the bottom as well, are both machined aluminum. This is obviously because this is where the exhaust of most of the heat is dissipated here. The back of it is plastic, as well as the top handle, which helps with heat as the lamp heats up. It gives you a cool place to operate the lamp and grab from. This is a nice mix of materials when it comes to performance versus keeping the weight down, but if you're looking for a completely durable, all-metal body that can withstand torture, you're probably going to jump up considerably in price. On the right side of the lamp, as you face it, we have the release for the Bowens mount. You simply press in, and it releases whatever attachment you have on the Bowens mount assembly. That's also the same procedure for the included diffuser, although that just presses and twists into place. It doesn't need a release to actually come off. The included Velcro mounting bracket for the power supply is actually quite handy. It's got 3 different straps that can mount onto just about any thickness of lighting pole or stand, and once those are secure, the front mounting strap allows you to mount the actual power supply bracket itself. This holds up against it. You simply wrap the strap around it, go through the included bracket, and then you tighten it until it's secure. The included AC mains power cable is almost 20 feet long, which is very generous, especially if this was up in the air or some distance away from you. And because it's attached to the rather sizable DC power connector, it's not pulling on the lamp directly itself. The lamp's DC power connection is a proprietary switch that's locking and only goes on one direction. This makes it very secure in situations where you can't see it clearly, and once it's on there and clicks into its locking position, it's extremely secure. Once the light is powered on, it has 4 modes of operation. The first default mode is rotate, which means the dial itself here is operating the lamp. And if we press the mode button, it goes into slave mode. Here we can change the channel to which this light will react to another master light. And that can be adjusted here by the rotating knob. One more press takes us to master mode. Here again, we can set the channel by rotating the knob. And then our last selection is the app mode. This is where the app controls the lamp completely, including power on and power off. GVM has done some real work when it comes to the remote control operation of the light itself. We've had some older GVM products where the app control was inconsistent at best, but this one is not. This has been very consistent throughout all of our tests, especially the outdoor tests where we had the lamp some distance away. We were easily and consistently able to control it remotely. That's a real godsend when it comes to operating the light. So the app couldn't be simpler. It's a 2-knob design. You control the brightness from the top on a slider, a rotational slider. On the bottom, you control the temperature, and you can even power the lamp on or off by touching the bottom power knob in the center of that. From here, to use the app mode, we simply hit the mode button until we're in app control there. And now on our screen, we can simply engage GVM2. This starts up our device control for the app. We hit manage, and then this is our device, our BT LED. We simply hit connect, and then from there, we have connection to the app itself. From here, we can power on and off the lamp simply by touching the center power button in the bottom rotational slider. The top rotating slider, we can change the brightness of the lamp, and the bottom rotating slider, we can change the color temperature of the lamp. And as a welcome addition, the app has been very consistent and very stable throughout all of our tests. One of the really important factors when using a light like this, especially if this is going to be your main key light or you're going to be using it as a fill light, is its color accuracy. Its ability to match color on set or specifically outside. So let's jump outside and let's do some real world tests and see how close the color measurement on the back of the lamp comes to real-world daylight fill. In this outdoor setup, we've recreated a fairly typical outdoor interview where the light's elevated, shooting through a scrim, and then we have the camera elevated as well, shooting against a deliberately backlit circumstance. This is going to make the lamp work harder so we can test the real-world performance of its ability to fill. All right, so we're on a really busy street here, and we've chosen a deliberately strong backlit scene so that we can use our lamp here for foreground fill. We're also going to be shooting through a scrim, which is going to reduce its overall intensity quite a bit as well. So we want to see if under these real world conditions, our lamp can balance daylight close. One of the hardest things for even good quality lamps to do is to get an even and accurate daylight fill when matched with the real world of daylight. We've balanced our camera at 5600K, and we've balanced the lamp on the LED readout to say 5600K. Let's see how close we come. So we're going to bring the intensity of the lamp up. This is about 65%, and now we've got a pretty decent overall fill. Let's bring it up even more. We'll bring it up to 100%, which is going to give us the maximum amount of color rendition for the lamp here. And as you can see, this is pretty warm for 5600 Kelvin. So let's bring up the temperature to 6500 Kelvin. And we're getting closer. You can see our accuracy is getting a lot closer for the real world daylight fill, but we're still a ways off. So let's bring the lamp up to about 7300K. And right about 7300K is right about where we need to be, as you can see, to evenly and accurately match our daylight fill setting on our 5600K balanced camera. And we've tried this with a couple of different cameras, and the results are always the same. So the light itself is more than capable of achieving daylight balance. It's just the LED readout itself is a little skewed on the camera. So maybe a firmware revision can help kind of scoot that over towards the cooler side. But currently, 7200K approximately is about where the lamp needs to be to get a real-world daylight balance. One of the other big considerations of a lamp of this wattage and power is if you're going to be using it in controlled audio circumstances, an incredibly quiet set, or in our case here, in a recording studio. So the overall output of noise that this produces or doesn't is extremely important to us if we're going to be using it as a key or a main fill light. So let's click the lamp on. And you can hear those fans spin up a bit, but even so, Still pretty manageable overall, about the same level as our MacBook Pro fans on our laptop when it's not running full on. So these are pretty manageable levels. Let's take a listen to it again as this mic is right in front of the fan outlet. So this might be a consideration if you're working on a completely silent set and this is right next to one of maybe the Talon's microphones. You might get a little bit of a hush in the background from it, but overall pretty manageable as far as audio levels are concerned. Another challenging thing for a good quality lamp to achieve is to maintain its color accuracy, especially if you're going to be using it as your main key lamp in a mixed light environment like this. So here in the studio, we have tungsten and halogen lights overhead, and those are very warm at about 3200 K. We have true daylight coming through the back windows, which is giving us a nice foreground fill and some nice background detail. That's at about 5600 K. We've balanced our camera to be 5600 K as well. We want to keep those skin tones accurate. And we're using the S300D through a giant parabolic deflector here that's going to give us a really nice foreground fill. But we learned from our tests outside that it has to be set at about 7200 K to come close to real daylight. So let's turn it up and see how close we got. So you can see it's a nice foreground fill and it's nice soft light, and it's a pretty nice match to our real daylight coming through the back window at 5600 K. And when we get to our color post-processing, these tungsten and halogen lights should still be that same pretty soft orange glow, and our skin tones should still be accurate and true because our camera has been white balanced at 5600 K from the beginning. Lights of this wattage tend to be pretty expensive, so something in this price range that puts out 300 watts is a pretty attractive alternative. So let's jump outside and find out just how much actual output this can produce under really demanding circumstances, like, for example, a completely dark night scene. In this nighttime example, we're shooting towards a house in the distance that's about 75 feet away. We have some twinkly lights on the trees of that house, and in the foreground, on the porch that we're shooting from, we have a dim porch light that's lighting the tree directly in front of us. We're going to raise the lamp up slowly to about 50 or 60% and see how much total area we can light with the SD300D. So there's 50% wattage from the light, to give you an idea, and let's go ahead and bring it all the way up to 100%. And there is 100% wattage from the lamp. It's about 70 feet that way on a pole, and this gives you a pretty good idea. So as you can see, the light puts out a surprising amount of brightness for its stated wattage and works great as an overall fill or even a key in total darkness. In this next example, we're going to put the SD300D up in the air on a pole and see how well it works as a background ambient fill to recreate the effect of Moonlight. And this is really to see if this lamp is powerful enough to really create some background ambience in this whole kind of dark area. And this whole area behind us, this is about maybe 80 feet behind us, or a little bit less, 70 feet, somewhere around there, to give you an idea. And we've got the lamp about 40 feet in the air right now. We've also balanced these foreground key lights at about 3200 Kelvin, so that will make our background light, which we have currently at about 7000 Kelvin, really blue. We're trying to make it kind of look a bit like this area back here maybe is lit with Moonlight. So as we start to bring that lamp up a bit, let's see if we can fill that area in. And you can see right about there, that's about 15%. That gives us a really nice detail back here. That's a really nice kind of moon glow look for our background. We could even bring it up just a hair more, and it fills up that background area pretty nicely. And we're only at about 25%. So to give you an idea, here's 50%. So you can really see just how powerful this lamp really is. If we bring this all the way up to 100%, we have just a cannon of a light back there. So we have more than enough power to light background detail. Simply shooting a light at a wall doesn't give us much real-world information about how bright something actually is, and so we're going to test this total amount of output from the SD300D under real-world conditions. So we're on the back end of the property. We're about 75 yards away, shooting into an open field, and we're going to return here at night in total darkness and see how much of this scene, this area, the SD300 can light completely by itself at full wattage. We've returned to our nighttime scene. We have the lamp white balanced at 7200K, the camera white balanced at 5600K. Our manual exposure is f.56 on our lens, and our camera's ISO is set at 1000. And as I bring the lamp's wattage up to its total 300 watt output, you can see that the SD300D does a pretty good job at lighting an entire area all by itself as a fill. So its stated wattage and overall specs are pretty impressive for its size and weight, especially in this price category. So as you can see, if you can live with the lamp's downsides for something in this price category, the fact that it's not an all metal body construction and the inconsistency of the color temperature, the lamp can easily achieve the color temperature on both sides of the spectrum. It's just the readout on the LCD itself is a little skewed towards the warm side. That's probably something they could easily fix in firmware. The upsides to this lamp are pretty significant, crazy powerful for its stated wattage. Stable and consistent app control for remote control of the lamp. That's a godsend for run and gun productions and that kind of thing. And the fact that it's a nice blend of materials and it's metal where it needs to be makes this a pretty attractive offer for the price that it's in right now. If you're looking for an alternative to more expensive lamps in this wattage category, this should definitely be on your short list. Hey, if you learned something or if this was helpful in any way, please hit the subscription and notification bells. It really does help keep the channel going. Stay safe, be creative out there. We'll catch you guys in the next video.